Welcome to the Merlin Crypto Market Update located on the X app. I'm Abs, the host and senior engagement officer at Merlin, and today's episode features a replay from our Merlin X Spaces. Every other Tuesday at 8:30 p.m., you can catch us live on the X app at Get Merlin Crypto. We dive into captivating discussions about cryptocurrency and blockchain technology with our engaged audience, special guests, and the founders of Merlin. Please note, these spaces can sometimes experience technical hiccups and end suddenly. It's all part of the experience. Thanks for tuning into the Crypto Market Update, proudly brought to you by Merlin, the smartest way to track your crypto.
Welcome to another Merlin Spaces right here on the X app. I will be your moderator this evening. My name is Jeremy Quintanilla. I am the Chief Finance and Operations Officer for Merlin and one of its co-founders. You may find me on all social media platforms at Age of Jeremy. Your host this evening will be Abs, Merlin Senior Engagement Specialist, and also the host of the Good Morning Crypto Show. The Good Morning Crypto Show comes to you Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern from the 3T Warrior Academy YouTube page. You can follow Abs right here on X at 3TGMC Crypto. Please make sure to also follow Merlin here on the X app. You can follow us on LinkedIn at Get Merlin Crypto, and you can also find us over on Instagram and Threads at Merlin Crypto _. Once we reach 300 threaders, we will be randomly selecting one lucky threader to win a 90-day trial of Merlin, the smartest way to track your crypto. Merlin is open to waitlisters right now, so make sure that you get signed up, and we will be open to the public very, very soon. You can visit us at merlincrypto.com. We will get started shortly in a few more moments while we get some people up here into this space. So listen to some sweet cyberpunk jams from 2077, and we will be welcome to another Merlin Spaces right here on the XApp. I will be your moderator this evening. My name is Jeremy Quintanilla. I am the Chief Finance and Operations Officer for Merlin and one of its co-founders. You may find me on all social media platforms at Age of Jeremy. Your host this evening will be Abs, Merlin's Senior Engagement Specialist, and also the host of the Good Morning Crypto Show. The Good Morning Crypto Show comes to you Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern from the 3T Warrior Academy YouTube page. You can follow Abs right here on X at 3TGMC Crypto. Please make sure to also follow Merlin here on the X app. You can follow us on LinkedIn at Get Merlin Crypto, and you can also find us over on Instagram and Threads at Merlin Crypto _. Once we reach 300 threaders, we will be randomly selecting one lucky threader to win a 90-day trial of Merlin, the smartest way to track your crypto. Merlin is open to waitlisters right now, so make sure that you get signed up, and we will be open to the public very, very soon. You can visit us at merlincrypto.com. We will get started shortly in a few more moments while we get some people up here into this space. So listen to some sweet cyberpunk jams from 2077, and we will be right back started. All right, everybody. Once again, welcome to another Merlin Spaces right here on the X app. I will be your moderator this evening. My name is Jeremy Quintanilla. I'm the Chief Finance and Operations Officer for Merlin and one of its co-founders. You can find me on all social media platforms at Age of Jeremy. Your host this evening is again Abs, Merlin's Senior Engagement Specialist. Make sure to follow him right here on X at 3TGM Crypto. Please follow Merlin here on the X app. You can also find us on LinkedIn at Get Merlin Crypto. Please also follow Merlin on Instagram at Threads at Merlin _crypto. Merlin is open right now, and people from our waitlist are gladly using Merlin, the smartest way to track your crypto. So make sure that you sign up for merlincrypto.com. Go over to merlincrypto.com to sign up. We will be open to everyone in the public very, very soon. Here on Merlin X Spaces, we enjoy debate, and we will gladly bring up people to speak and have amazing discourse on this space. But please keep it family friendly, and please be respectful. We want these to be an inclusive atmosphere. The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to the man of the hour, Abs, Merlin Senior Engagement Specialist. Please take it away.
Hey, what's going on, everybody, and how you doing tonight? I'm excited to talk tonight a lot about some things that we haven't discussed before, specifically Visa and Solana, and that's probably where we're going to start today's episode. But I want to say hi to Jenna and Mario and Gonzo first. So, Mario, how you feeling tonight, and thank you for being here.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. I'm doing amazing. I hope everybody's doing well. I'm excited for another Merlin Spaces. I'm excited for this crypto talk. I hope everybody's doing good.
Gonzo, it's a celebration for you because Ethereum was once again chosen by Visa, and we're going to be talking about it. I'm only teasing you, of course. But how you feeling tonight, and thanks for being here, man. I'm not sure if I'm getting... Oh, perfect.
Can you hear me? I was having technical issues. I have to keep coming out, but I think it finally connected. But no, not just Ethereum, but you guys are pretty soon going to call me Solana Maxi, because Solana, they're doing stable coins, USDC on Solana and Solana Pay, a lot of different things that they're building on it. Hopefully we'll get to a day where, they build on something like XLM, right? Because it's better technology. But for now, we have Ethereum and Solana.
It's an exciting day, Gonzo. So I really just wanted to open up the chat with that news from today. Visa is now using Solana to create a high-speed throughput structure, and they're going to be using stablecoins like USDC on the network. Now, what really caught me by surprise is that, again, they're choosing Ethereum and Solana, which we know are not the best technologies in the space. But I want to give a shout out to Johnny Crypto here. It's like he always says, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And eventually they might migrate to the best technology. But for now, this is specifically built off relationships. So I wanted to hear what your biggest takeaway was from the news, Gonzo. Are you anticipating any price action for Solana, or is this just another momentum thing?
We've got a little bit of price action, but until the market corrects, then nothing significant. But I mean, I think the bigger thing is like just basically what they're doing with payment. Think about like when you go into a store and transactions and where we've gone, like over the last few years with like Square and Stripe and how they set all of things up. These guys are continuing to build, right? When you look at Solana Pay and what they're building, like they've incorporated payments with like loyalty programs, which is something that's always been kept separate. And while that doesn't seem like it's a big deal, there are major brands or major stores that would love to have everything in one place and cut out like a middleman, so where they could deal directly with maybe just one company. So it's going to be interesting. Like it's just kind of the beginning stages of what they're building, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on.
And it's funny because the title of today's episode is The Backbone of a New Digital Economy, XRPL and ADA. And that's because we come up with these titles 7 days before the episodes. Last week, the talk of the town was Charles Hoskinson stating that ADA was about to become a center for a new digital economy. This week, it's back to Ethereum and it's back to Solana. But Jen, I saw you just jumped in here. So how you feeling tonight? And thanks for being here.
Hey, Abs. Hey, Jeremy, Mario, Gonzo. What's up, guys? Super excited to be in here. Yeah, I could not believe Solana and Ethereum, and like we were talking about on Good Morning Crypto, I think Gonzo's right where you have to be testing this stuff out because let's be real, Solana, come on, and ETH is so slow and the fees and everything. So I'm really hoping that we see them move over to XLM or the XRPL.
Gonzo, at least we can use some of this manipulation for ourselves, right? If we know they're going to continue to choose projects like Ethereum and Solana, we should start to position ourselves to capitalize off that growth. And I know for me specifically, I've been so big on the best technology like quant networks, HBAR, XRP, those types of tokens. But what we're seeing right now is a migration into the slower technologies before we even get to the best stuff. I want to hear your takeaway before I have Mario.
Yeah, it's one of those things where there's definitely a play there, right? And that's why I always tell people to separate your investment thesis from the narratives, right? If you're here to kind of try to build some wealth and kind of play on the volatility, these narratives are definitely something to pay to. I'm not sitting here telling you, hey, Solana is the greatest and the better than sliced bread, and I'm going to hold this thing forever. It's not. But like as these things get built and then you get price appreciation, there's definitely the ability to make money, right? And that doesn't mean that at the end of the day that we won't get like a better technology, that these guys won't, like Visa or Mastercard won't figure it out and see that there's better technology. But until we get like full-blown utility, and I don't think we're going to get that until we get like regulatory clarity, until we get Congress coming in and actually making rules, that we won't see a true utility bull run. But until then, there are definitely opportunities there.
Yes, Gondo, I want to remind people we are going to bring people up to speak in just a couple of minutes. So if you're in the audience and you have something to say, just raise your hand. We'll engage with the conversation. But Mario, not only was it announced that Visa is going to be using Solana and Ethereum, this announced that they were testing tokenized assets on Chainlink. Again, we are seeing a decentralized world where there's going to be a variety of blockchains tokenizing assets and utilizing them on their network. I'd like to hear what the news means to you. Does the Chainlink news change how you look at the project now that they're collaborating with Swift?
Of course, it solidifies the project's potential. It solidifies their ability to make an impact in the financial infrastructure. But I think that going forward, we're only going to see more of this because tokenized assets, that's the way that the future is going to move towards. And whether Ethereum is going to be the chosen one, and I think that we will see Ethereum kind of be the leader, continue to be the leader. But I really believe that we will see a moment where it's kind of like the internet when the internet first started. We're going to see these companies and they're going to look like the apparent winners. And then in the long run, we might see another one that just catches up and potentially even takes over as the predominant like player in the game. Or we could just see all these different blockchains kind of take over different sectors of crypto, and you see that Ethereum becomes the chosen one for a sector, and then XRP becomes the chosen one for another sector, and Solana for another sector, and so on and so forth. And Chainlink could be the one that actually connects everything together. So, but I think it just solidifies, just to really answer your question, I think it just solidifies, obviously it solidifies the blockchain space and everything that's being built around blockchain. But I have no doubt that tokenized assets and the tokenization of anything is really the future.
Jeremy, I'm going to give you the floor. I see that you got your hand up.
Yeah, something that Mario said, it reminded me when he said that it's going to be very similar to how the internet was. You're going to have a bunch of these companies come out, right? And then you're going to have some of them fall out and fall off. There's a graph that Johnny Crypto made for one of the presentations that him and I do in Merlin, and it actually shows a trend line of how cryptocurrency has moved and grown. And it follows a very similar trend line to the internet bubble, and even where the fall offs are, and how that works. So I think that, one of the things that we can see is that as this space becomes more and more mature, you're going to see that exact same thing kind of happen. And so I think that if we want to look at history as a way to kind of assess how those ebbs and flows are going to go, one of the most important things that we can look at is to see how the internet went, and then to some extent how social media, when MySpace came out, when Facebook came out, when YouTube started, there was another app that came out. I know Gary Vaynerchuk talks about it. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but he left YouTube to go over to another platform that he thought was going to outdo YouTube, and it eventually crashed. And you can see even from those social networks and how those markets become more mature, if we follow those trend lines, you're going to be able to follow that very similarly with any market that's being created and maturing over time.
I think it was
Jeremy, and I
Vine,
find that to be
right?
really.
It was Vine.
Go ahead.
I think it was called Vine.
No, there was another like long form platform with YouTube that came out. I can't remember what it was. I mean, it might be Vine. I can't remember, but I think it was more similar to like a long form like YouTube is.
So Jenna, I think what people are really wanting to figure out right now is what are some of the sleeper picks within the market. And as I look at the top 20, one of these projects actually catches my attention. It's probably not what you're expecting. After they've chosen Solana, they've chosen Ethereum, they've chosen Chainlink, I think Polygon, aka Matic, could be a massive scaling solution for everybody who begins to use Ethereum. And that could be another token that we see come out with some big announcement in the future, whether it's tokenized assets or smart contracts. Do you have any sleeper picks, maybe in the top 100 or even beyond that you're anticipating to see big gains?
You know what? VeChain is at a cent and a half right now. Like, I think that's beautiful. When it got to like 24, 25 cents last bull run, I'll take a 25x on that. Even if it only does like, I think it's gonna do way more than 10, but just because of their partnerships and everything, I just think that it looks really, really good. And another one that I love is AVAX. I know we have ADA on here, and honestly, I don't have that anymore. I used to, but reason being, the huge pump that we saw with Cardano, it didn't come like, a regular bull run, whatever. It was all based around their announcement of smart contracts. And I mean, I don't know if they're actually going to have that same kind of momentum that they did with that news. So I don't even know if they'll reach that, to be honest. That's just my take. Like, I know a lot of people really like it, but I don't know. I have too many other that I think will outperform.
I want to hear from Mario and Gonzo too. Do you guys have any picks that you could see as sleeper picks for the next bull run? Gonzo, Mario, or Jeremy?
I'm going AVAX.
I would say, they've already used AVAX. I like Atom just because, the tokenomics are not great as far as leveraging the Atom token for the actual ecosystem, but what they're building on it, like the DEX injective, and just that whole cross-chain kind of narrative, I think it's going to be huge, but I think you're on the right path. As far as layer twos, there are layer twos that haven't even come out yet that have ZK technology as a scaling solution. Polygon has already said that they think that the final phase of what Polygon will be using ZK rollups is kind of in sight. They just have to build the infrastructure. But we're going to see other layer twos that are going to come out that be just as efficient as Polygon, and they're going to be new projects. And so I think they have the potential for a lot of upside. But I'll say Atom.
I like that pick. That's a good one. AVAX and Atom are two tokens that we heard a lot about during the bull run, but I feel like over the last 18, 24 months or so, nobody's been talking about those projects. So it's pretty interesting. I also think that Matic could be a sleeper pick. Quant Network's one that we say all the time, but just the fact that tokenomics with Quant are so exciting, there's only 14.6 million tokens that'll ever be in circulation. And so it's not going to take much for the liquidity to dry up on exchanges. But Jeremy, floor is yours.
I was trying to find the exact article to mention it, but one of the reasons, and because I wanted to elaborate more on AVAX, I know that the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, they started the CBOE, they started using Avalanche as some of the infrastructure because of how fast it is, to be able to hit out all of the ticker symbols. And so I think that Avalanche is going to be used in the future, just because of its speed, and the fact that like the Chicago Mercantile Exchange is pretty intense, the CME group. And so I think that having that already started to be built into that infrastructure, we're going to see a lot of that mature over time. And I think that that's one of the reasons why AVAX is probably one of my top picks for the next bull run.
And another one, Jeremy, I mean, Chainlink is collaborating with Swift to tokenize assets right now. And I'm looking at the long-term chart. Can you believe that this thing was $50 a token during 2021's bull run? I mean, it's like Dogecoin. Dogecoin reached 40 billion in market cap during 2021. That's what I mean when I say that the Bitcoin market or the crypto market is just cyclical. The money flows in, 90% exits on the back end. But at the end of the day, if you don't take your money out of the market, it escapes you. So Jenna, I'd like to get some thoughts from you. What do you think about the fact that Chainlink was $50 not only 2 years ago? It's pretty crazy.
It's so crazy. I like Chainlink. You know what else is nobody talks about it. But guys, YFI outperformed Bitcoin. It got to like, what was it, 70 some $1,000, and it's like 5,000, or it was, I don't know, last week when I checked.
Yep.
Way better buy, and will it do it now? I don't know, but it was such a very, very small supply, like what was it, like 20 some odd thousand or something like that? I have to pull up coin market cap, but nobody talks about it. But if it performs the way that Bitcoin, or the way it did last cycle, I mean, that could be just as good as holding Bitcoin, if not better.
Do you guys think that this next cycle is going to be based on utility, or is it just going to be another speculation run where people are kind of guessing what companies are going to do, but at the end of the day, the money comes in and the money exits. Not much of it stays because there's not much utilization of the assets yet. I'd like to start with Gonzo or Mario.
I would say, you want to go ahead, Mario?
No, you can go ahead, bro. I'll go after.
I was going to say, you have to be careful with that because, so the big narrative, why did Solana, why did AVAX, why did some of these projects do so well? Because block space problem with Ethereum, which related to the gas fees, right? And so I don't think block space will be an issue this time. Maybe some data availability. So I think the layer twos are going to do extremely well. That narrative is going to do well, on top of kind of crypto gaming. I think the actual use case for blockchain and NFTs is going to get kind of moved forward in this next bull run. I know that Gala is really beat up because of the drama between the founders, but there are a lot of different projects, including like some of the layer ones like Solana or like AVAX, right? A lot of the blockchain gaming companies like AVAX because of their subnet technology, because it's basically like building their own blockchain that connects to AVAX. So that's another thing to pay attention to.
Yeah, I think that to answer your question, Abs, you said that like if we're going to see a lot of speculation or utility, I think it might be a combination of both. And the reason I think that is because especially if we do get some ETF approved for Bitcoin, that's going to be utility. That's utility for Bitcoin. It's being utilized, and there's institutional money at play. But we could still at the same time have the speculation side of it, where all these other projects still really don't have much solidified utility. We continue to have this speculation of partnerships, speculation of things that are being built out. And so it might be a combination of both, but it all depends. I mean, I think eventually, I know eventually the utility is going to come into play, a matter of when. And it all depends on how these things line up. Next year, we've got the elections. The United States continues to play a big part. So we need that regulation and that framework to come out, give more confidence in the institutions of coming into play in the space. And it's just a matter of time, really. But whether it's going to be one or the other, I'm more inclined towards it being a little bit of both.
Jenna, floor is yours.
Oh, I was just looking. I forgot about Filecoin, right? It's like $3.20. I mean, yeah, Link pumped it, 50, but it's like $5, $7. I mean, a much higher ROI if Filecoin goes to $182 again. That would be literally insane. But same, like I'm with Mario on that. I think it's going to be like speculation and utility, guys, because still there are things that pump and we're like, what the hell? Why? So I think it's going to be a mix of both. And I think really the Bitcoin ETFs are going to pump. And I think, it's going to be absolutely massive. I think Ripple's going to IPO. I think that there's just going to be so much money flowing in, and it's just going to be completely ridiculous.
You make a really good point, and same with you, Mario, about the spot ETFs. That does give institutions an excuse to buy Bitcoin and not sell it. Just offer it to their clients so they can continue to make a profit. So that's something that will definitely be new, and it's definitely going to be a catalyst for all of crypto. Looking at the Cardano price chart, Jenna, one of the things that's really interesting about Cardano is it had the bull run of a lifetime, going from about 3 cents all the way to $3. Now we've seen a 90% regression, and since it's in the title of our spaces, I'd like for you to address it. I think Cardano is one of these sleeper picks that we're talking about, or is its prime or its best days already behind us?
I mean, it's not, shouldn't be $3. Like, it just really shouldn't be. I mean, there is no reason for that other than just that crazy smart contract news and all of the FOMO. Like, I don't know. I was surprised that like it got past $1.50. Like, but hey, it did. I don't know. It's just not my. I just don't see it explode. Look at the market cap compared to so many other tokens. Like, I don't know. I'd rather hold XDC than ADA.
XDC over ADA. That's a smart pick. I know Quincy Jones would be happy with that as well. Mario, we're having a little tech issue, so I'm going to kick it to you right now. ADA was $3 back in 2021, and what I've described before is that the crypto market's cyclical. Money goes into Bitcoin, then Ethereum, then major altcoins. So where do you anticipate we're going over the next 2 or 3 years for Cardano? Do you think we'll ever break all-time high based on all the smart contract information?
I think so. I mean, Cardano was definitely a speculative play last bull run, and it was a speculative price run. And I think that as Cardano continues to build, and we start to see the kind of infrastructure that's being built out, I think it definitely has the potential to increase, especially if we see all this liquidity, all this money come into the market. We know that money is going to flow from Bitcoin to Bitcoin first, and then from Bitcoin to the remainder of the high cap market coins. So I think it's in my opinion, it's definitely going to happen. Who knows? Even in the future, as Johnny Crypto, talks about all the time with Cardano, it's the slowest mover. But who knows in the future if it can surpass Ethereum as far as like adoption and what it can actually do and the scalability. They definitely have the better technology at this point. It's just that it's still being built out. And so, but to answer your question, yes, I do think that that we can see new all-time highs from Cardano, from most of the top 10 projects, to be honest.
Yeah, and I tend to agree. And there was a video that we played on Good Morning Crypto this morning, guys, and it was Brad Garlinghouse discussing back in 2018 or 2019, they were running these trials with banks, and they were giving them XRP and allowing them to test transactions. What these banks found is that RippleNet and the product that XRP provides reduced costs by 90%. And what they found is that their rate of transactions increased by 800% during the trial because clients had more money to send. So it's really, really interesting the adoption effect that this could have, whether it's Solana, Chainlink, Ethereum, XRP. All of these technologies are going to be utilized. And I do think everybody in all of these projects is probably going to capitalize off of that growth. But this is a Merlin Spaces, and I got to remind you guys about our product, Merlin, the smartest way to track your crypto. We've been talking about how 90% of the money that comes into this market exits on the back end, and that's rated this application, guys. Merlin allows you to create an exit strategy and even check out other people's exit strategies so you know when to take profit in the market. So go to @merlincrypto.com. That's merlincrypto.com. Check it out, 30 days absolutely free. Jeremy, I did want to get some of your thoughts on what I just mentioned there. Whether it's Chainlink, Solana, Ethereum, XRP, blockchain technology seems to be coming to the forefront. So when do you believe we're going to see an American adoption moment, whether that's regulation or just a big bank or financial firm stating they're using this technology?
Well, I worked for a big bank for a long time, a bank that I won't say on here, but it's one of the big 3 banks, so you can probably gather it or go listen to other stuff and figure it out. And so most of those things were a 10-year time horizon. So I think that the bank that I worked for, there was documentation and a plan layout to create the infrastructure for utilizing blockchain. And that was a couple of years ago. I've only not been working for the bank for about 2 years since, I focus on 3-2 Warrior Academy and Blockhead's the company that's bringing you Merlin, the smartest way to track your crypto. But point being is that when I remember that it was like a 10-year plan. So my guess is when the banks, if the bigger banks, and again, this is one of the 3 biggest banks in the United States, when they have that plan in place and it's got a 10-year horizon, I'll say because it's a giant corporation, it's probably going to be behind like 3 or 4 years. So my best guess is we're going to see really big adoption probably in around 2030. That's where my best guess is, where we're going to start seeing most of the banks, if not all the banks, having some type of blockchain infrastructure. Now, do I think that there could be other bull runs in between there that have to do with like cryptocurrencies, growing? and their price is increasing. Absolutely, that's a cyclical thing. That's a market that's based off of, for the most part, speculation, what people believe can happen. But I think that over the next 10 years, by 2030, we're going to start seeing really good infrastructure in blockchains and in the largest banks, and it will become like a normal technology that's being utilized.
Jeremy, you said 2030. That makes me a little bit, I don't know. I guess I'm surprised by that answer. Do you really think it's going to take that long before banks start announcing these utilizations?
My guess is that they'll announce that they're utilizing them. But I mean, if we're talking about if a roadmap is somewhere between 7 to 10 years, and they're usually off by about 3 years, or I'm guessing about 10 years. If they started talking about those between 2021 and 2022, I mean, maybe 28, 29. Do I think that they'll mention using them before that? Absolutely. Will it be ingrained in their entire infrastructure before then? Probably not. But they will have products that utilize the infrastructure. They already have products that utilize the infrastructure. It's just that if you're not looking for it and looking for announcement and news about it, it's not like publicly being said on like TV commercials, right? I think at that point in time, we'll start having the bigger banks, the big three, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and Chase, like saying that they have these products that are built on whatever blockchain it is that they're utilizing, or multiple blockchains, and we'll start hearing that in their advertisements, in more public-facing news. Now, do I think that there's going to be other things that happen in between? Of course. And I think that that's going to create that momentum for it. But that's really the biggest time frame that I see for it.
And I want to give a shout out to Randy, Samuel, and Derek. Thanks for hanging in there, guys. I don't know if we're having audio issues. Appears that we might be. I also want to get your thoughts on this.
We're having audio issues because Johnny Crypto decided to ditch us.
Yep, it's always comes back to Johnny Crypto.
And the only reason why it's working is because Jenna decided to grace us with her presence. So.
Jeremy, this is a cool quote. Sorry to keep going back to you, but I just have one more thought. Earlier today, we found a quote from Raoul Pal where he said, what BlackRock did is really, really important, not because they filed for an ETF, but because they sent a message to the financial industry. And so I'm wondering, since we're already seeing companies like BlackRock and Goldman Sachs slither into this space, I'm using that word because it feels like they're coming in through the back door.
They sure are.
Does it lead you to believe that we're going to start seeing the tokenization of assets sooner than we anticipate? Like, could it be that the banks get all of this infrastructure and then make the announcements after everything's perfected? Is that usually the case?
Yeah, that's more of what I was saying. I think that we'll get the tokenization, that stuff being built in it. I'm saying that they're not going to forcefully flow out into the communities, right? Where it's in all of their marketing, it's in all of their conversations that they're having. Because like essentially you have two parts to a bank, right? You have multiple parts to a bank, but the two main parts is that people think of when they think of a bank. They're either thinking of investment banking, right? Which is investments, right? Like BlackRock, or if you go to Wells Fargo Advisors, you do something along those lines. And then you have like the service part of the bank, which is where you can go and you can get a checking account, a savings account. The tellers and the bankers, they try to sell you products that are, what are considered, non-commercial products, more personal use products. And so when those types of individuals having the conversations about the infrastructure and how the blockchain's utilized to, create speed of transactions, it's utilized to, check whether or not an overdraft fee needs to be paid, right? When you are building the entire infrastructure into the blockchain and those people are talking about it, that's more of what I'm talking about, of when we will see like this full adoption where they go more towards the full public with how they're conversing about it. Now, we will see a lot of other stuff happen in the interim, and that's why it's so important for people to not only join, this spaces like this Merlin space, or to join other spaces of other crypto educators or people that are trying to hold space around this, right? With the educators, that's why it's so important to go and be a part of these conversations, whether it's Merlin or another, because it allows you to hear about all of the things that are happening that you otherwise wouldn't hear of, because no one in the public or in, the forefront that are, the people that are talking to the customers, they're not educating people about that. But when we get into the latter part of this decade, those are the types of conversations that everybody's going to be having. And that's when you can really see that full crypto or blockchain adoption has taken place.
Guys, now I want to ask the people who are out there. I see we've got 2G, Randy, Samuel. Can you guys give me, Derek, Ben, can you guys give me a thumbs up if the audio is coming in clearly? I just want to get, I want to ask our listeners, because it appears that we're having some audio issues. I'd love to address it if possible. One of the things that is very clear is that this shift is already happening, and it's projects that Chainlink and Polkadot and Solana that are going to profit off of that growth. But I want to kick it to Mario. BlackRock has a 100% success rate on their ETF applications, only having one denied before, and then they rebutted it and they got it passed anyways. So out of 576 applicants, every single one the SEC has given approval to in due time. And I think that goes to speak when it says who runs this country for real. But I do want to get your thoughts. Do you think that this is going to be different because of everything we've just mentioned?
Well, if there's one applicant that can get that the approval, it's definitely BlackRock. As you just mentioned, they've got an excellent approval rate. Not just that, they have the influence that we know they have, and the power, and obviously that could lead into control. But let's not get into that here. But I definitely think that they have the highest chance of them all. But I would love to see Grayscale get the approval because, and I mentioned this on a Bundle Crypto the other day, that they've been creating these crypto-focused investment opportunities funds. Wow, and I think that they've been positive advocates for the space. So I think they definitely deserve to have this ETF or GBTC converted into an ETF. So I would like to see Grayscale get approved first, even Kathy Wood's ETF application. But I'm inclined to say that Grayscale kind of has this weight on their side, which leads me to believe that they probably will get it first.
The race for Bitcoin has already begun, Mario, and it's some of the biggest players in the space. Samuel, Derek, and Ben, guys, and also Dave, we are going to restart the spaces because we're having some audio issues here. So what we're going to do right now, close the spaces down, but we're restarting. So just check the top of your Twitter feed, and this spaces will be back up in just a minute. I want to say thank you to every single one of us for joining us, and we'll see you guys in about 5 minutes or so. So thank you.
Welcome everybody back to another Merlin Spaces right here on the X app. Hopefully you can hear us now. Let me get Abs, our amazing senior engagement specialist at Merlin, also the host of this Spaces, and he is now listed as a co-host. Abs, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir. And I'm happy that we got that practice run in. Now we're ready for the real thing.
Yeah,
Johnny,
we're ready for the real thing 40 minutes later. Real quick before we get started here on Merlin X Spaces, we enjoy debate, but please keep it family friendly and please be respectful. We want these to be an inclusive atmosphere. The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities that they represent. My name is Jeremy Quintanilla. I am the Chief Finance and Operations Officer for Merlin, also the moderator for our X Spaces here on the X app. You can find me on all social media platforms at Age of Jeremy. Again, your host this evening is Abs, Merlin Senior Engagement Specialist. He is the host of the Good Morning Crypto Show. The Good Morning Crypto Show comes to you Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern from the 3T Warrior Academy YouTube page. You can follow Abs right here on X at 3TGM Crypto. Abs, off the top of your head, how many followers do you have?
5,250.
All right, I'm expecting by the end of this app that to be 10,000. So if every single person get over to @3TGM Crypto and follow the amazing Abs, our amazing senior engagement specialist. You can also follow Merlin here on the X app. We are also on LinkedIn at Get Merlin Crypto. Please also follow Merlin on Instagram and Threads at Merlin_crypto. Again, that's different. That's Merlin_crypto. Once we reach threaders, we will be randomly selecting one lucky threader to win a 90-day trial of the Merlin app, the smartest way to track your crypto. If you are on the Merlin wait list, you will be receiving an email, or you might have already received that email and you are currently using Merlin, the smartest way to track your crypto. But if not, make sure to go over to merlincrypto.com and sign up for our waitlist/newsletter so you can get access to Merlin. And we will also be live with Merlin to the public very, very soon. So we're really, really excited about that. And with that being said, Abs, since these are going to be podcasts, I wanted to make sure all of that was in there. So I'm going to kick it back over to you for us to continue our amazing Merlin space.
Very cool. And I'm realizing that we are having the same issue here. So I know that I can't say your name, my friend, actually cannot say that name live on Twitter. But Mario, first of all, how you feeling? Gonz, I want to do some introductions, then we'll get right into our content.
Feeling good, man. Not better or worse than before. I guess probably worse because nobody can hear us. So that's not a good sign.
Here's what I would say. This is basically a phone call, Mario. So we can be unfiltered on this conversation as long as Jeremy's okay with that. Gonzo, how you feeling, bro? And thanks for being here for the second, third, fourth time, whatever it is.
Gonzo is connecting. Johnny Crypto, can you hear us, sir?
This is funny.
Yeah, I
Johnny
have no
Crypto.
idea at this point what the problem is.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes, we can.
Hey, oh my God, what the heck? Mercury retrograde, or what the hell's going on tonight?
They're after us, Johnny Crypto. I guess you pissed off the Mercury gods tonight, but we're happy that you made it. Listen, they haven't struck us down yet, so we're going to keep this thing rolling.
Yeah, Isaac, Jess, Crypto, I don't know, Crypto C, something, NRAP. Clyde Frog, if you can give us hearts to see if you can hear us, that would be great. Or a thumbs up, or one of those bad boys, or 100. Or something, just to make sure that we can be heard. All right, so someone can hear us. That's good. Clyde Frog,
job.
thank you so much. So we're going to continue with this Merlin space in probably in about 5 or 10 minutes, we're going to open it up, bring you guys up, be part of the conversation, ask some questions, and we will keep this going again. You can head on over to Merlin on our YouTube channel. Go to YouTube and search Merlin. And from there, you will eventually be able to hear all of these on there too, and you'll be able to follow these wherever you get your podcast. So be on the lookout for that. We're going to just be having Abs do some intro and outro recordings this week, and then all of those will be going up so you can hear all of these amazing conversations as Merlin focuses not only on being the smartest way to track your crypto, but also making sure that we are creating engaging conversation in the cryptocurrency space as educators. So Abs, it's all yours, sir.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. And I am happy to NRAP, Jess, Crypto, Isaac, and Clyde. Shout out to all you guys because we've had some technical issues and somehow you managed to stay in here. So shout out to you. And Johnny Crypto, believe it or not, this is the first time we've gotten to talk today. It feels like it's a decade, my friend. How you feeling? And thanks for making time for us.
Brother, I know it's been a long time. It's been a while, man. We, as we launched Merlin, we certainly have a lot of things happening, and we're trying to make sure, Abs, that we service our customers and keep them happy and provide the best product out there. And so that takes time, and unfortunately, my time and many, many others matter. And so it has been a while, but I'm happy to say I'm happy to be here tonight to be with you all. And for the warriors and the troopers who stuck it through the first one, I couldn't hear nothing this time around when you guys were playing it. But it sounds like it's working now. I think we're good, and hopefully we can get some people back in and have a really good conversation of what the heck's going on in the crypties, because the title tonight's very, very intriguing, Abs.
I mean, we're just waiting on Jenna up here, so we may as well kick off the conversation. Johnny, think about the huge news. Visa announced it's building on Solana and Ethereum. What I highlighted is obviously it's not the best technologies, but it's relationships dominating the industry. That's why Visa chose Ethereum. I'd like to get your thoughts, and we'll kick it to Jenna.
Yeah, like my dad always says, he said, son, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And boy, that an adage that's, probably been right throughout history, and it probably will continue on. Relationships will dominate, there's no about it. And sometimes the better technology won't win because money wins and friendships and partnerships win. So, it's amazing. Like Solana's back from the dead. That thing was dead and dying. And here it is, So when you've got the right connections, you can come back from the dead. But I want to give a special shout out to our girl XRP, to Jenna X. I haven't talked to her in a while either. So how are you doing tonight? It's great to have you here. And how How you doing?
Hey, Johnny, I'm good. I'm good. I missed you this morning on Good Morning Crypto.
Yes, I missed you guys too. It's man, there's only so many hours in a day. Unfortunately, I wish we could make more. Maybe someday Jeremy will figure out how to do that with the moon water and the hours. But yeah, I missed you too. But I'm glad you're able to make it tonight. I'm so excited that we could bring some people up here too and talk about what the heck is going on. What's Visa doing? Where are we going?
Right? I thought like Solana's always broken, so that was a huge surprise for me. I'm like, listen, there has got to be like some big bag holders somewhere, and that is why. And that's what's
Shout
going
out to our man Mark Yasko, Jenna, because I remember the first time we interviewed Mark Yasko on Good Morning Crypto. It was August of 2022, and he did a whole segment about Solana and the infrastructure and the partnerships that they have. And me and Johnny at the time were in disbelief, but this type of news just validates what he said 12 months ago. So I just wanted to throw that in there because you brought it up. Big players have been excited about Solana, and this is just more validation, it looks like.
I love how Jenna's like, Solana's always been, she's right. The damn thing's always broken and abs, and we're just going to use it to run Visa. Yeah, that's all. Just a small, little, tiny company that doesn't really deal with a lot of transactions. And we're going to use it for that. But I also see we got Mario, and I don't know, did we lose Gonzo? But we got Mario in the house, too. And I just want to shout out to my man Mario, who's been busting his tail off with customer service for Merlin as well. So shout out to you, Mario. Love you, brother, and thank you for all your hard work.
Love you, man. Thank you.
Mario, and I got to ask you for the fourth time tonight, how you feeling, my friend? We haven't heard from you in about 5 minutes.
Before he talks, I'll go ahead and say a bunch of stuff and then kick it back over to you, Abs, and then you can come back to Mario for a fifth time. I'm just kidding. Mario, go ahead.
Remember, Abs, most of us couldn't hear whatever you guys talked about. So whatever you talked about, none of us know. So it's really the first time for most of us.
We had a good conversation, not only about Cardano, we talked about Solana, Matic, but here's what I want to bring up. We talked about the sleeper picks for the next bull market, Johnny, and this I think you could have an interesting input on. Jenna broke it down. She said VeChain. Gonzo, I believe, said AVAX or Cosmos. My take was that Matic could be a sleeper pick for the next bull run. Based off the Solana news, what's your sleeper pick for 2025?
I like File. I think something has to be able to keep all of the File and Flow are my two favorite little keepers, little sleeper keepers. I like those two. So I'm saying, and Mangala too, for that matter. So I got quite a few sleepers there, Abs, to be honest with you. I love having a stable where you can just pack that bad boy with horses that you believe will be, potential big gainers. And for me, those two, will play a key in the space of how multiple in these different layers. When we build the system, I see File being a big piece of that. And then, of course, if you really want to know, it's not a sleeper, but Quant obviously is my favorite pick of them.
And that's what we talked about, Johnny. It seems like with our group in particular, we've always focused on better technologies, Quant Network, HBAR, XRP, XLM. But these types of partnerships shine a light on what's really happening in the industry. They're not focused on the best technologies. They're just focused on better technologies. And what Solana and Ethereum offer today is much better than the traditional system that's operating. And you know what, Gonzo? Shout out to you for this great quote, because when I think of Solana, it's not how many races you have in the horse. It's how many horses are in the race. And Solana's got a bunch of horses in itself. I mean, a bunch of races packed into that horse. So, Gonzo, shout out to you. I want to give you the floor.
Yeah, I don't want to break Johnny's heart because I know he's been real busy with the Merlin stuff, and I don't know if he's kept up to it, but Gala got completely decimated because the two co-founders can't get their shit together and have been countersuing each other. And so the prices, a lot of people have left Gala. So we'll see where that floor is, but maybe it ends up being an opportunity at the bottom prices.
That's exactly right, Gonzo. I mean, it's funny because you would think intuitively like anybody who's owning Gala would be upset. But to be honest with you, man, when I saw that news, I was licking my chops because I kind of look at it as a win-win. And I'll tell you what I mean is, one, if you look at the Warren Buffett style of investing, he'll always tell you, buy when there's blood in the streets, buy when there's fear, buy when nobody wants a good company. That's when you buy it, right? When it's a value sale. And two, when you look at what's happening there, you got one guy, the founder of the company, Shiremeyer, accusing the other guy, Thurston, of stealing $130 million. So if you had a scenario where both of them were being arrested or being caught for shystering, and stealing money, that would be very problematic. And I'd be very nervous. I'd be out. But the fact that you got one guy who's like, hey, I built this freaking thing. I want to see this thing succeed. And you're coming in here and you're messing this thing up. And $130 million out of $2 billion is a very, it's a big number, but it's not, it's a drop in the bucket compared to $2 billion. So I think the company will survive. I think they'll flush out the bad actors. Every company's, sometimes you get a company with bad actors. It kind of happens. It's a lot of money you're dealing with, right? But I think in that particular situation, Gonzo, just the opposite. I'm not heartbroken. I'm chomping at the bit in DC and more, because I don't care where the bottom is. I know it's not that far from here. And frankly, to be honest with you, even if it is, when it goes up to 70, 80, 90 cents, it ain't going to matter if I bought it at half a penny or a penny. It's still going to be a shit ton of money.
Well, Johnny, some more relevant news from today, and it's involving a gaming token, or I guess you could call it a gambling platform. Stake was exploited over the weekend, and $40 million was stolen from the casino, crypto casino. That's a tongue twister right there. But here's what's really interesting. 3 blockchains are what were stolen from. Ethereum, $16 million. Binance, Polygon, $25 million combined. These are very big numbers, but this is why I'm tying it into the Gala news. You just described how $130 is not a lot of money compared to the $2 billion that they raised. Well, this company has made nearly $4 billion in the last 18 months. So them losing $40 million in a hack's not going to destroy the company. I'd like to get your thoughts, and we'll kick it around the group.
Unfortunately, until we get regulations, I think what people have to realize in the space, if you're going to invest in the space, you better understand that right now, you're in 1887. Western America. It's the wild, wild west right now. There's no rules. There's no police, that kind of thing. It's mano a mano, meet you outside in the street, pull out the gun and shoot you kind of a thing. And
it's like when Johnny Crypto was in elementary school, baby. No rules.
That's
lawless
right. I was in
society.
elementary school, and you were in diapers, and you got to remember that this is the way,
Hey, I was not in diapers when you were in elementary school.
Yeah, but anyway, I was not in elementary school in 1887.
You were in diapers. You weren't even in diapers when he was going into the bank in the 70s. Looking at those interest rates.
12%. I'm telling you, I remember the sign to this day.
Oh my God.
I see it right there still. But anyway, I love Jerry. But anyway, what the hell are we talking about? Listen,
what were we talking about?
What was the topic? What was the question? I lost my train of thought.
You were asking about the Wild West and all the things that were going on.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Jeremy. So, that's what. So you asked about the fakes. I call it the fake stake. You got to be careful when you're playing in this space, knowing that anything you get in could be a scam. You almost have to start out looking at this space saying, everything I want to get is a scam. And then prove to yourself, do the research to validate that it's not a scam. You got to kind of like unscam it. You got to look at it and say, am I getting played here? And so, dude, I don't take no chances anymore. I don't invest in none of these staking platforms, trading casinos, none of that stuff. Just give me my coins, put it on the coin. Don't even go to Hot Wallet, because obviously you all know what happened to me. I got hacked on Atomic. So none of those are safe either. You kind of got to just go with a cold wallet, or maybe an exchange that you really, really trust, maybe something strong like a Kraken. But other than that, you really got to play it safe, play it smart, because this is not the time to be worried about earning 3 or 4 or 5% or 8% in a staking platform or something, when there's so much upside potential at risk. Does that make sense?
It definitely makes sense. And I just want to remind you that it was a casino gaming platform. So the whole thing is interesting, right? That means people are taking their crypto and literally gambling it regardless. So we're talking about some speculative investors here, to say the least. But
well, yes and no, right? There, yeah, but think about Celsius and the other staking platforms that got crushed. And so my point of being is, in general, right now, it's just not a good time to gamble with any of this stuff. For me, I'd rather just sit on it, set it and forget it kind of a thing, and just wait and see where, wait for everything to mature, wait for all the regulation and the laws to come in place, so the bad actors get flushed out, or can't really play as easily. And maybe there's criminal, laws that can flush them out too. And then at that point, when it becomes a little more established market, then maybe you start to play with it. But I didn't want to cough Gonzo, so I want to kick it over to him and the floor. Give him the floor.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just going to repeat what Abs was saying, is that, stake.com is a gambling platform. And, gambling is really big in the industry. We've got the biggest gambling season that's about to start, which is the NFL season. You think about DraftKings and all the other ones, right? And so here's the thing. They're a gambling platform, so maybe they're a little bit different because they made a few billion last year in profits. But we've seen this before. We don't know how this hole on their books is going to affect them. We will see in the next few months, right? Think about 3 Hours Capital. They were a $1 billion fund, right? And then the hole that Terra lives in them that they could never recover from, that eventually made them insolvent. Same thing with Celsius, right? you see this with the banks where they're making billions of dollars and all of a sudden they file for bankruptcy. So I'm not saying that they're going to go to zero, but what I'm saying is we just don't know without looking at their books to see how this is going to affect them in the next few months. If they're going to be able to really make up the hole, or are they going to go under? They're lucky that we're kind of towards the end of the bear market and we're going to come out of this thing. Like, I think Bitcoin's already bottomed out. But imagine if this was at the beginning, right? When we still had all the debacle that was to happen in 2022, maybe they don't survive. So, we'll see how it plays out.
Well, Johnny, the original title of this space was the XRPL and ADA, the future of a new digital system. And that's because Charles Hoskinson stated himself that he believed Cardano would become a centerpiece for a new digital economy. I know you're a huge proponent of Charles Hoskinson, so I just wanted to get your thoughts. If there were any projects that you would stay away from that people consider to be, I guess, a safe pick, what would that be? If I put you on the hot seat right now, give me a token in the top 20 that you're not a huge fan
of. Pep.
Safe answer. Safe answer.
Yeah,
that's a very good answer.
I definitely don't like. I don't like those. Those. Even Doge is another one that the only reason why I have any Doge whatsoever, abs, is literally a play on Elon Musk. And is he gonna, bring Doge to the rescue, or is he gonna take it and prove to the world that you could take something that's a joke coin, right? Because that's exactly what Doge was, joke coin, and he's breathing life into it. Let's face it, we all own, most people who own Doge only own it strictly because you believe Elon Musk is gonna, maybe do something with it.
I'm one of them.
Yeah, I know you are. Yeah, and listen, I ain't gonna lie, I'm one of them too. I literally only own it because of him. Because who knows what he's gonna turn into, right? That's the whole. Listen, let's face it. Right now, every single one of us who are here today is a speculative investor. We're all speculative. There's no doubt about it. We're all guessing and wondering and being afraid that we've done our research and we've looked at what we believe is utility in the future, and that we believe which ones of these tokens or cryptocurrencies will be there in the future, surviving and driving the Web 3.0. And so that's a speculation play. We're not investing in something that's a proven company that we know is out there and it's making profits, right? That's not what's happening right now. So from a speculative play perspective, you just look at it and you say, okay, which ones do I think? Some may be because you believe in the technology. Some may be because you believe in, a champion who's carrying it, like in this case, Elon for Doge. So there's going to be many different reasons why people believe in something, abs. And I think this just comes down to, as Gonzo likes to say, your thesis, what you believe in, what you believe is the right way to invest. And you should follow what you believe. That helps you sleep at night. And you should only ever invest what you can afford to lose. Because if you're investing your rent money and your baby food money, you're putting yourself in a really, really bad position.
Gonzo, jump right in.
Yeah, meme coins, that's the easy one. But Jeremy's going to hate me for this one. I'm sorry, Jeremy. And I'm not saying it's going to go to zero, but I just worry about it because I just don't see any partnerships. I don't see anyone building on it. The whole parachain thing hasn't really played out how we thought it was, but that's DOT. Right. And I'm not saying it's going to zero. I just about is it going to make it back to all-time high? When you think about all the partnerships that are coming out with Solana and Ethereum, the things that they're building, the infrastructure that they're building, I just don't see that. Maybe I'm missing it. Maybe Moonbeam is one of the projects, but I just don't see them building on top of DOT. I worry about that. I know that Jeremy loves DOT, but that's the one pick I would say.
Jeremy, I got to get your opinion as well. Give me your opinion on Polkadot. And is there any tokens that you think, I guess people consider safe assets, but you don't believe in? Jeremy, he might not be here, guys, so I'm going to kick it right over to Johnny. Johnny, jump right in.
Jeremy's so angry and probably just a freaking,
I'm gonna get an email where Jeremy's you're fired.
I'm be angry right now.
I'm just kidding. I wanted to get a laugh out of you. Go ahead, Jeremy. The floor is yours, Mike.
No, what was the question? I stepped away for a second. I forgot my juice in the other room.
So Gonzo was taking some very personal shots at Polkadot, and I just wanted to get a rebuttal from you. Do you believe in Polkadot as an infrastructure? And Gonzo, that was a joke, of course. Do you believe in Polkadot?
To be honest, I'll be 100% honest. I quit following Polkadot. It was a big one that I was really into for a while, but right now a lot of my attention, and I wish I could find this piece on it. It was in a Forbes. I think it was a Forbes or in Fortune or something. But ever since I read it and did a bunch of research on AVAX and Avalanche, I'm just a really really right now really heavy believe in Avalanche and building on the Avalanche infrastructure. In fact, I was trying to find it. I was looking at their website. I was going through some of their community, some of their protocols, and I was trying to find this article, which I didn't find. But if anybody goes out there and does some research on AVAX, I'm actually pretty big into AVAX right now. And like I said earlier, in the last spaces that we did, that's one of the ones that I think is going to be really important for the blockchain infrastructure in the future, and which would mean that I think that it's the sleeper when you were asking about that. Absolutely.
You know what's interesting about that one, Jeremy, is a lot of people lie their way into saying partnership with Amazon because they actually pay Amazon to let them say that. AVAX was the other way around. Amazon went to them wanting to build a partnership with them. And so to me, from a technology or tech person, when I see that happening, that tells me, that's a really, really good sign for a blockchain if you got Amazon knocking on your door. So I couldn't agree with you more. AVAX is one of
I think it's mainly because of the way in which it handles the transactions and the quickness. And I think that even when I was looking for the article earlier, I found an Investopedia article, which I moved off my screen for some reason. And in it was just comparing it to how fast it is just compared to Ethereum. And it's ridiculous. And so I think when we're living in a society where we need a bunch of transactions to happen as quickly as possible, and then that data gets organized or whatever happens after that piece of it, I really feel that Avalanche is going to be something that's going to be really, really important into the future. And, even now when we talk, just so people that are unaware of this, I own a business called 3T Warrior Academy also. And even when we coach with our gin shifters and we talk about a lot of the future infrastructure of the blockchain, and when I talk to them, because we go through a lot about like what our portfolios look like and things like that. And a lot of my portfolio is going, again, this isn't financial advice. I'm not saying go invest that, talk to a financial advisor, and none of these opinions are of Merlin. They're each of our own. But I mean, that's one of the main ones that's being built into my portfolio right now. So
there was a really interesting survey I read earlier today where it was talking about how Pantera Capital, which is one of the best investment companies in the United States, put out a price chart for Bitcoin. And what they were predicting is that after the Bitcoin halving, 6 months after the Bitcoin halving next year, they're predicting a $120,000 Bitcoin price. And so, Johnny, does that sound like a bull market to you, or what do you think?
Whew, I'll tell you what, you have your exit plan ready. You better have an exit strategy. We start seeing those kind of numbers, boys. That's going to be a ton of cash coming in, which means the smart money is going to be looking to get out. They're going to be looking for your money. They're going to be looking to take your money away from. That's how you need to think about how these markets work. When you understand it's them versus you, and you're going to lose because they've got all the inside information, you got to have an exit plan. And, it sounds like Jeremy's high on AVAX, so I hope Jeremy has heard of this little app called Merlin where he can create an exit strategy.
I do. I have it built in, and we also use it at the 3T Warrior Academy and building our exit targets for all of the crypto investments that we have there as well.
Oh, that's awesome, Jeremy. Want to say a little bit more about what that is?
Yeah, so essentially Merlin allows you to create exit targets. So we have an investment, we have a crypto team that is part of our 3-2R Academy that actually Mario is a part of, along with Gonzo and Jackie. And Gonzo actually built our exit targets along with Jackie, utilizing his amazing technical analysis. And we are building out those exit targets inside of our Merlin app. And we get notified when we hit those targets so that we can go and sell. So we never have to miss a pump or something that's going on during the bull run. It's made for the bull run, and we have a lot of amazing things that are coming out soon for that. Johnny, if you want to add anything to that, please go ahead.
Yeah, I'd just like to know, do you sleep better at night knowing that you've got your portfolio set up now where you no longer, I don't know about you, how many times you look at your phone during the bull run, but I'm curious.
I'm very fortunate. I have people like Mario and Gonzo and Jackie and Abs, and at one point Johnny Crypto, who would look at the phone for me and let me know what was going on. So all 5 of those people no longer have to do that at the 3-2R Academy because we were using our amazing app, Merlin, to make sure that we don't miss out on any of that.
Well, now you know why we created it, because all 5 of us got tired of looking at our phones.
Exactly.
But all right. So anyway, we can talk more about Merlin later because I think it's important that, people do know. Well, actually, you know what? You can, Abs will tell you where you can get it, how you can sign up and get a free trial for it. But anyway, the point is we want to make sure in our communities here at 3T Academy and Merlin is that we're helping people, educate them in the space to understand how the game is played and put yourself in a position to not be the exit liquidity for the super smart money, and to also make sure you're making good investments and to make sure you have a plan to get out before you get in, Abs. And so to me, if we see $120,000 Bitcoin price in the next bull run, which by the way, I'm gonna. I know I shouldn't do this, but I'm gonna go on record and say I would not be surprised if we see that number. I mean, I've seen some of the Fibonacci's on it, and it could be even higher than that. That's actually a low side estimate. But I'm not even going to go to the high side apps because everybody's like, oh, you're crazy. But yeah, 120, I'd be excited. And let me tell you about that. Not only would I be excited, not so much for Bitcoin, right? I'm not a Bitcoin max. I don't even have that much Bitcoin. But because you and I talk about this all the time, crypto. What happens after that money floods into Bitcoin? It comes out of Bitcoin, and where does it go, Abs?
Altcoins.
Attaboy. That's right, baby. It's going to flood into the altcoin market, and all of us are sitting on a shit ton of investments in the altcoin space. And so, that's why it's so cool when you get your app set up, you just throw all your coins in there, right? You're like, oh, okay, now I can see all my coins. I can see my gains. I can see my losses. I know what I'm up, what I'm down. And then when they start to take off, you actually can make an educated decision on, do I want to sell right now? Do I want to wait a little longer? Or, oh, hey, I just got an alert. So very, really exciting times. And yeah, I will not be surprised at all, if we see 20K BTC in the next run. When you think of the amount of money when they get the Bitcoin ETF approved, that could flood into the space, the liquidity, what I call a liquidity event, and the combination of the Bitcoin halving. Those two things are going to be two super powerful events that I think are going to supercharge the next bull run.
Yeah, thank you, Johnny. And again, this is Jeremy, the moderator. I do want to let everybody know that this is an open space right now. So please make sure if you'd like to come up and ask a question, be part of the conversation. Again, this is a space that is sponsored by Merlin, the smartest way to track your crypto. But our goal here is to create engaging educational space for people to have conversations around blockchain, cryptocurrencies, and other blockchain technologies. So please raise your hand if you'd like to come up and speak, and we encourage you. This is for you. This is about creating open dialogue, and we would love to have you come up.
And Johnny, there's a lot of things that we can talk about that would lead to a Bitcoin price of over $100,000. But I think the biggest catalyst that I can find is that now the SEC is on the hot seat. Grayscale, Fidelity, BlackRock, Goldman Sachs, and 2 other companies already have applications sitting there. And so I think when they approve one, they will approve all, and we will see a massive influx in demand for Bitcoin. And like we all know, there's only 21 million Bitcoin. Doesn't matter how much demand there is, they can never increase the supply. That's how I think we're going to get to these drastically higher price targets. There's one other thing I want to put in here. For the first time ever, institutions have a way to now hold Bitcoin and offer their clients while profiting off of that. So I think it's going to give them additional incentive to not sell as much Bitcoin the next time around, possibly to a steadier price where we have maybe not the highs that we've seen before. Maybe it's only a 3 or 4x, but the floors are going to be much higher, and that could be better for the market as well. I'd like to hear from Mario, Gonzo, Johnny, whoever.
There's a mute button. I think you're right, Abs. I think we're only going to see Bitcoin's price get less and less volatile. I think that's something we can expect, especially with more volume being held, especially by institutions. But it is exciting when we think about the fact that the crypto market in general is only $1 trillion, and half of that is taken by Bitcoin. So it shows us the potential that this market still has, and that's something that I hold on to like every day, is just how early we still are. Although it feels like we're late, everybody that's actively researching and participating in the market, it feels like we're extremely late, but we are so early, and it's super exciting to be participating in the market that's this early. And of course, we're going to get losers. We're going to get those plays that don't quite turn out the way that we thought they were going to, but we're going to get the winners, and those winners are essentially what's going to make it all worthwhile. So super excited for the market.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. It is going to be different this time around because in the past, the only thing to prop up the price was after you get out all of the speculators and the gamblers and all the smart money, is that institutional piece of it. And right now, once they really come in, they're in a small bit. You got Grayscale and other things like that in there. But you're going to now soon, and then you have the retailers kind of thing now, this space and some smart money. But what's nice about what I agree 100% with you is once you have the real event and the legitimization of Bitcoin, which right now it's not legitimate. Go talk to 90% of your friends, or go talk to all your friends. 90% of them are going to say Bitcoin's a scam. Or crypto's, right? Because it's not legitimized yet. It hasn't been said on CNN or Fox News or CNBC or all the other channels that it's real and that it's safe and that you can go invest in it yet, right? People need to be told it's okay to invest in something. And right now they're not being told that on TV, okay? But once that ETF gets approved, that's exactly the narrative you're going to start hearing. Hey, this is a new investment. Hey, this is the big greatest thing since sliced bread. And you're going to see it going in everybody's 401ks, and the big institutions are going to buy it in ETFs. And so that is absolutely going to prop up the bottom. So you'll get a big pump. And then, yes, I think we'll see a new floor, a higher floor that's going to be held by that. And Mario's right, too. Less volatility. So for people who love the crypto space, the volatility play, and my guess, this may be the last time we really get a crazy high, volatility spike, if we even get one, like the prior bull runs. Because I think the next 4 years from now, we're going to be very, very legitimized. Most of this stuff will be regulated. It isn't going to be Wild Wild West anymore. The game is going to change. And I'm not even so sure we're not going to see some of that play into this bull run that's going to, kind of dampen this bull run a bit compared to the prior ones. But I still think we'll get a pretty good one. But the next one, yeah, I agree with you. I think it's going to be less volatile and less of a drop.
Gonzo, jump right in here, but I also want to remind one of our listeners, Bullish Momentum, he always has great comments. So if you'd like to come up and speak, please do. But Gonzo, floor is yours.
Yeah, I think that we're building for right now for the next run. Whatever we go to.
Am I having audio issues?
Can you hear me?
I can hear Gonzo loud and clear. Abs, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I just can't hear Gonzo.
Okay. You just can't hear Gonzo. Gonzo, do you want to come back out and come back in again for the 30th time this evening?
Yep. I can
Poor
do that.
Gonzo. I can
do that.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you,
in the
Gonzo.
meantime, while he's doing that, if Bullish Momentum wants to come on up, brother, come to speak. Love that guy.
Johnny Crypto, kick it around the room for just a second. Buy me some time. I'll be right back.
Yeah, so, while we're waiting for him to come back, we can talk a little bit about Merlin. Jeremy, I get a lot of questions about Merlin saying, hey, Johnny, what's special about Merlin? What can it do for me? And one of the things people don't realize is when you use a crypto tracker, you're at the mercy of the API keys that allow the tracker to connect with your exchanges and provide you the content or information to show you what's in your account. And what I've learned in playing with all the ones that I've used, some of the big ones out there, is a lot of times the data through these API keys is not perfect. In fact, a lot of times, because there's 26,000 coins and a lot of them have the same ticker symbol, you'll get a mismatch in data and you'll get the wrong coin. You'll get the right ticker, but you get the wrong coin name. And the wrong coin name means the wrong price. And now the next thing you know, your portfolio, instead of being, I'm making up numbers here, $10,000 shows up as 2 million. And you're like, oh my God, I'm rich. And then you go look and you realize it was just an error in your coin tracker. And trust me, if you don't believe me, guess what? It happened to me. So I know. And I've heard people tell me about that story.
I know. I can hear the emotion in your voice, Johnny. I was going to say.
Oh man, there's nothing worse than you wake up looking at your phone and it says 1.7 million. And you're like, and the reason why it sucks is when you're in the heart of the bull, you believe it. You're like, it's possible. You something could change. You guys know, you've been all in the, how things can pop up and your accounts can skyrocket. And when you're in the middle of that and then you see 1.7 million, you're like, holy shit, it's and then you go look and it's a mistake. And that's when you lose all credibility in those crypto trackers. You're like, these things are garbage. And so what we did in Merlin was, so the next thing he says, okay, let me fix the problem, right? So you're going to your coin tracker, you're going to your app that you're paying, you try to fix the problem. And then you realize, oh shit, I can't delete the coin. I can't edit the coin. You're like, this is horrible. And so literally that becomes useless. And that's what we did differently. We've given you all the tools in Merlin. We're putting the power in your hands for you to manage your portfolio. Nothing's perfect in the world. Merlin's not going to be perfect either, right? We're going to get you close. We'll get you within 95% accuracy. And that's better than a lot better than other trackers out there. And then we've given you the tools to get it to 99%. And so that's why I'm excited, Jeremy, because I think we've got a lot of pieces in there. And we got a bunch of tutorial videos on how to do it. Guys, go to www.merlincrypto.com. Try it out. It's 30 days free. You got none to lose. Yes, I get a lot of people saying, well, Johnny, I got to put my credit card. I hate that. I'm like, yeah, guess what? I hate that too. So guess what we did? We made it so simple. You got to cancel a credit card. You get on the phone. You got to call somebody, talk to somebody in India. You're spending 3 hours. I just want to cancel the thing, right? You don't have to do any of that. If you decide you don't want Merlin, on the third, before your 30-day trial expires, or on the third day to the end, we send you an email saying, hey, guys, your account's ready to renew, or you can cancel. And guys, right in the app, very, very simply, you just push the cancel button. It's that simple. If you don't want it, one click cancel, boom, done, finito. You don't have to worry about being charged over and over again, because I hate that and I didn't want that. And so that's why we built it that way. So no risk free, one click cancel, give it a shot. You got nothing to lose on all the game.
Hey, Gonzo, I know you got to run. I just wanted to see if you had any closing comments here. I want to say thank you for joining us tonight as well.
Yeah, hopefully you guys can hear me this time. I was saying, like, I think we're building the floor for the next bull run, right? When you see these resistance levels that we've been hitting, we're having issues, we'll come back and retest them, but this time there'll be support, right? And so I'm going to lean into my technicals. Like, you're going to see all kinds of FOMO. We're going to 500,000, we're going to a million, or whatever nonsense they come up with. But when that RSI pegs out and we build that bearish divergence like we did that called the top last time, that's when I'll be calling, hey, I think top, and then I'll be pulling most of my profits and then waiting for us to build the bottom again. But like these levels now that we're having so much issues trying to get over that like 32,000 level, eventually I think when we come back down after the bull run, that's where we're going to have that major support line at.
Johnny, and I want to ask you one more question. We talked a lot about Merlin and taking money out of the market. If you think Bitcoin's going to reach 100K next year, what do you think the next bear market price for Bitcoin is going to be? Obviously, this cycle it was about 15,000. This cycle it was nearly 3,000. What do you think the bear market bottom for basically 26, 2027 could be for Bitcoin?
You know, I don't have the charts in front of me, Ab, so I'm going to literally shoot completely from the hip. No real analysis on here other than my gut feel of looking at where the price has been. Probably somewhere around 35-ish, maybe, I would think. If we hit up to 120, I wouldn't be surprised if the low is somewhere between 30 and 60, somewhere in that range. Again, depending on the high and where we stretch. Because remember, the market is like an elastic band, right? It overshoots, and then it comes back down and finds a spot. So the safe zone, as Yusko likes to talk about, you know, because you got the speculators that come in when you're on the rise, then you've got the gamblers, and then you've got the super gamblers where they come in on the margin leveraging, right? And that's going to drive the price way above what it really should be. And then when they get sucked out and lose all their money, and they will, that's when you'll find that settling price, you know, usually probably somewhere on the order of 50% back from wherever it peaked, or even as high as 70%. So we get to 120, you know, then I would say we're probably going to find that, you know, that pullback 60, 70% from there, maybe somewhere around 40, 50, 60K. Which wouldn't be too bad from where we are today.
I was going to say, that sounds pretty good to me.
And it's not even better than if you ladder out with Merlin on the way up, and you're taking a bit, a bit at 70 and a bit at 90 and a bit at 120. You're going to feel pretty good when you start seeing it back at 90 and back at 60 and back at 50. You go, oh, thank God I sold, you know, thank God I followed my plan.
Mario, I'd like to give you a chance to close this out here as well. Any closing comments? Because I know you got to run. And he's gone. It's like that South Park episode.
I'm here. Sorry, that caught me off guard. My phone was locked, and then my fingerprint wasn't working. So yeah, it took me a bit.
Mario? Babs, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Jeremy.
I heard
Mario was there. This is the greatest technical spaces we've ever had.
Yes, that is very true.
But so I can't hear Mario, and you guys can't hear Mario, I'm assuming?
No, I can't.
Mario. Are you there, Mario? I see him there, but I don't hear him anymore.
Guys, they're trying to shut us down, but they can't stop us with this Mercury energy, Johnny. They haven't struck me or you off here yet. So let's keep the conversation going with just me and you. When it comes to Bitcoin custody, a lot of companies are deciding that they're going to get involved right now. What Jeremy had previously stated is that the mass adoption moment is going to be taking place sometime around 2030. So what do you think? Are we going to see a mass adoption moment before then, around 2030? What are you anticipating to close this out for tonight?
All right, hold on a second. Let's get a clarification on your question. Mass adoption of what? Bitcoin?
That's a great question. So
blockchain,
what we were talking about is banks utilizing the technology at the banks.
Yeah.
So
let me bring Johnny up to. Do you mind if I say what I kind of said so Johnny kind of has context?
I'd love that.
Yes.
Okay. So what we were talking about is mass adoption of blockchain, and I brought up the fact that at one of the large banks that I used to work at, one of the 3 large banks in the United States, they had a outline that they drafted probably in 2021, 2022 about how they were going to create the infrastructure of where they wanted to place blockchain. And that infrastructure creation was probably about 5 to 7 years out. I say that they're usually about 3 years behind on their projections just because of bureaucracy and, I don't know, banks aren't very good at I don't know, moving things fast, especially the bank that I worked at. So I was like, that's probably around 2030. And so then Abs was asking, like, what does that specifically mean? And the way that I look at that is that when we're educating, when we look at crypto educators and we look at how banks educate people, I'm saying that in around 2030, that is to the place where you will see from the consumer side of banking, the consumer side push where they're actually talking about blockchain being used in their technologies in an open marketplace, on TV commercials, on their billboards, on their pamphlets out to consumers in the mail, and their check booklets, all of that, right? Where it's this, everybody is bought into the blockchain idea, everybody's bought into the way that the technology works, and they are openly speaking and talking about that at the consumer level, from tellers to people, from bankers to people, when they're talking about them, and they're educating people the way a lot of the crypto educators are in this space. Now, when I said that, I do think that there's going to be a lot of other movement that takes place, but I don't think that the banks are going to openly announce that, what's the best way, like, ferociously or not frivolously, but like in their everyday vernacular when they're talking to customers about banking products. I believe that it's going to be closer to that 2030 mark when that's when everybody inside of the bank will be talking about blockchain to the consumers.
Yeah, Jeremy, I hate to agree with people, but because it makes no fun for conversation, but 100% agree with you that, you know,
and he's usually agreeing with me the most, just like I hate agreeing with him the most.
Right, but you do the most. But anyway, nonetheless, the reality is that is correct. But Abs, the way technology works, and everybody in the world thinks there's going to be this flip of the switch, and they think that, you know, by 2025 the whole world is going to be running on it. Well, okay, you have to understand how humans work and how technology and things work. Yeah, you may start to, you know, there's a huge infrastructure that needs to change. And some of that's probably being worked on and tested, built now. And then they test it, and okay, now we like it. Okay, now we need to implement it around the goddamn world. That's another 2 to 3 years. And that's just to put it in place and fully vet it out and make sure it works. And then you start educating the consumer on what it is and what it means. And that takes more time. So 2030, I won't say it's aggressive, but it's probably pretty accurate. That, yeah, I don't think like, 2025 we're going to be fully operational. Yeah, 2025 I think we'll have a lot more systems and banking systems trying it, maybe even betting it, maybe adopting it, and some running on it. Some. But to the point where the whole entire globe is running on it on a mass adoption level, I agree with Jeremy. I think it's 20. Actually, I've been saying it's even longer than that. I do think it's more like 10 years. If you look at the internet, for everybody to be on the internet now, it took, at least a good 10-year period of time. And when I go back and I think about credit cards, when people were switching from cash to credit, that took a long time to change people's behaviors. And Jeremy might be able to speak to that because he worked in the banking system, although he was probably in diapers too back in the 1980s when I remember the first credit card coming out.
Johnny, you're not that old in the 1980s.
Oh, I was 18 working at,
Okay, I'll give you that. Much better than when you walked in the bank in the 70s and saw the interest rates.
That was the end of this. I was like 9 or 10 years old, but I was 18 years old.
The imagination's a hell of a thing.
I mean, adoption is one of the biggest things, one of the hardest things to accomplish. And I mean, there's even like my grandparents, it took them 20 years to use a debit card, right?
Yeah,
and so that's the kind of time that we're up. And when you look at like how difficult it is for people to explain how distributed ledger technology works, how the blockchain works, that it's safe, when all you get is fear from the news and media. And I'm not saying that the news and media ever that they're designed to like attract people to clickbait, right? So they need to have like that fear and that extravagant news story, right, for people to watch. And I get that, but like you don't unless you're involved with us on Twitter or you're on a YouTube channel, or maybe even like our good some of our friends, they have LinkedIn channels that have like unless you're part of that, right, which is mainly going to be the millennials, Gen Xers, to some extent Gen Z. I mean, it's going to take and even some millennials that are in the latter part, like I'm an older millennial, I'm going on 40 here. And so I'm like at that top end of it, right? And so even millennials that are my age are skeptical of the blockchain. So when you have that type of skepticism, it's going to take a really long time for people to realize, okay, I need to learn this technology. I need to learn how to use it. It's going to be something that we adopt. We're going to use it on an everyday basis. And that takes a really, really long time to get people to do it. And so I do agree with Johnny that I don't think 2030 is aggressive. I think that's more in line when you'll start hearing banks talk about it. But then there's going to be even another 5 to 10 year period to get the people that were against it to buy into it.
That's my point. That's why I say it's aggressive. Exactly. Because I think you're 100% spot on. By 2030, they'll start pushing it out. But then it's going to take 3, 4, 5 years for people to change their habits. And maybe people will change their habits faster now than they were in the 80s and 70s when debit cards came out and credit cards. And like, what's this? You know, and people were more reluctant. I think this society is willing to move faster with technology. But yeah, I feel 2030, 2032, you're probably talking somewhere in the low 2030s before this stuff is really fully humming and, you know, humping and pumping. And I think that's why you don't want to sell everything out exit plan, but you want to bring some of these technologies with you into that time frame. Because if you sell it all in 2025, you're going to pull a Johnny Crypto when I sold all my Amazon in 1997. And I'm glad I did, because I would have never met you guys, because I'm a multi-millionaire now. I wasn't a knucklehead and sold everything. But don't make that same mistake and sell everything now, because there's too much upside coming in the future in this space.
Guys, you heard it here. Don't be a knucklehead. Download Merlin, create your exit plan, take profits from the market. We've really discussed it all throughout the night. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who's hung around for this entire Spaces. Jeremy, I'd love to give you a chance to close it out.
Yeah, no, I just want to thank everybody that hung around with us for 2 spaces and dealt with all of our technical difficulties, not being able to hear us. And truly, as we move into the future with cryptocurrencies, Merlin is going to be something that not only is easy to use, it's easy to see right on the dashboard. The way that it aggregates all of the cryptocurrencies is fantastic. And again, I might be biased because I am one of the co-founders of it, along with my good partner and friend, Johnny Crypto. But that being said, we are really, really excited to see what the future of the blockchain holds. And this is just the beginning of Merlin, the smartest way to track your crypto. And so, Abs, is there any closing thoughts that you want? Or Johnny, do you have any closing thoughts?
I got one final question for Johnny. I got one final question for my friend Johnny. I don't know how many years you think you got left, but do you think we will ever see a cashless society while you're alive?
Oof. Wow, that's a great question. Man, oof, that's like predicting your future of your life. You know, well, let me say this. I hope. Well, I don't know if I hope I want to see.
He hopes not, because he has a bunch of cash and then there's bet. No, I'm just kidding.
No, we're tired. We buried it in the backyard. But no, don't come dig up my backyard. We don't do that no more. But you know, Abs, I do
that anymore.
Abs, I do believe that I probably will see it in my lifetime. Because I think we're probably only maybe 10 to 15 years away from that. Possibly somewhere in that zone, maybe 20. So yeah, I would hope I'd get to see that. I'd be kind of pissed off I wasn't here then, but it is what it is, and hopefully my legacy will be left behind with Merlin and you guys and everything else. But I will say this: I do want to end the note on this. It is so cool to be able to, you know, have Merlin going. I'm calling people and I'm talking to customers who sign up, and the reactions when they hear, you know, I'm giving them a call. It's so cool to talk to people, and they don't believe that, like, you know. Like, oh my God, you actually call me back. It's like, yeah, we care about you, we care about the people, and we built this product for our team, for the academy, and for you guys, you know, for the whole crypto space, to give them something helpful. And it's so cool to see their reactions and the graciousness. Everyone's been grateful. So I'm so happy to be able to talk to people and help them get on board with it, Abs. And so the cool thing is, if you sign up for Merlin and you're having an issue, the good news is you're probably going to get a call from Mario or Jackie or NFT Cones or Johnny Crypto. So if you have an issue, don't be surprised if we're giving you a call back, because we believe in customer support. It's the most important thing.
We don't outsource our customer service to India. We keep it in America, baby.
That's
America first.
We hire American Indians to do it. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I do have something that I want to add, though. If you follow me on social media, again, you can follow me at Age of Jeremy. But one of the things that I'm a proponent for is multi-world species. And so the reason why I'm bringing that up, not to support Abs' good friend Elon Musk, but I'm bringing that up because when SpaceX, Blue Origins, or NASA, or Virgin Galactic, or any of the space companies that are out there, there's many more than that. But when more of the space race moves and we start going interstellar, and we're a civilization that can be on multiple worlds, when that portion happens, like with Elon Musk wanting to get to Mars by 2030, that's when you're going to really start to see a push for a more cashless society, because that cash is going to need to be 100% digital, right? And so I think that is going to be super important for the longevity of the human race, right, the human species. And so I know that, like, when Elon started off with what is now called PayPal, the idea was that so money could be moved between worlds, right? And so I think when we think about that, we are going to see, as the space race continues, as the blockchain technologies increase and move forward, when those things are going to move hand in hand, especially with the cashless society. Now, do I want to see a full cashless society? I'm not 100% sure, and I don't want to speak to that specifically because there's lots of politics involved with that. But what I can say is a digital currency and the ability to move money is going to be very important, and I think we will see it in Johnny's lifetime.
Thank you there, Jeremy. That's the vote of confidence that I like. And I just want to throw a quick shout out to you, Jeremy, and to you, Abs. You guys have been wonderful supporters of Merlin, the voice of Merlin, the Fin Wizard of Merlin. So you guys have been also very key in the success and things we're doing to try and get it in the hands of people so they can try it and someday be able to use it as an exit plan to secure their money so they can get on that rocket ship that Elon's building there, Jeremy, and be able to someday go and get moonwalk.
Johnny, we definitely live in interesting times. And the fact that technology is improving so quickly, I do think that we could see, just to tie this all back to crypto, I do think we could see a moment where floodgates open in 2028, 2029, 2030, like you're describing. And crypto goes from a small industry to synonymous with cash in basically a year or two. So everybody who's involved in this market before that point is set to profit off of that. And that's what gets me really excited. But I want to say thank you to Johnny. Thank you to Jeremy. Thank you to every single person who listened tonight. And I'm going to kick it back to Jeremy to close this out.
All right. Thank you so much for listening to Merlin X Spaces. Again, my name is Jeremy Quintanilla. I am the Chief Finance and Operations Officer for Merlin and one of its co-founders. You may find me on all social media platforms at Age of Jeremy. Again, let's give a round of applause to our host, Abs, Merlin Senior Engagement Specialist, and also the host of the Good Morning Crypto Show. The Good Morning Crypto Show comes to you Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern from the 3T Warrior Academy YouTube page, where you can see Abs, you can see Johnny Crypto, you can see Gonzo, you can see Mario the Node Defender, you can see the beautiful Jenna X as well. And occasionally you can see myself and CJV on that show, GMC or Good Morning Crypto. Please follow Merlin here on the X app. You can also follow us on LinkedIn and Get Merlin Crypto. You can also find us over on Instagram and Threads at Merlin_crypto. Again, that's different. It's Merlin_crypto. Once we reach 100 threaders, we will be randomly selecting one lucky threader to win a 90-day trial of Merlin, the smartest way to track your crypto. And if you don't have access to Merlin as of right now, don't worry, we're going to be going public. But if you want it a little bit sooner than that, make sure you go over to merlincrypto.com and sign up. And again, here on Merlin X app, we do enjoy debate and we encourage it, but we also want to make sure that we keep it family friendly, and we appreciate you all being respectful when you do come up and speak. And again, the views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views and positions of any entities they represent. And one last shout out, I want to give a huge shout out to Johnny Crypto. He wasn't originally going to be able to make this space, but he made time for us as always, and we truly appreciate him. And with that, we will see you next time. And remember, this space is brought to you by Merlin, the smartest way to track your crypto.
I love you guys. He's so good, Jeremy.
Love you guys. Have a great night.
Love you, Abs. Love everybody.
Thank you for tuning in to the Merlin Crypto Market Update located on the X app. I'm Abs, your host and Senior Engagement Officer at Merlin, and we hope you enjoyed this episode from our Merlin X Spaces. Remember, you can catch us live every other Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on the X app at Get Merlin Crypto. If you want to take your crypto tracking to the next level, don't miss out on our free 30-day trial at merlincrypto.com. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode.